are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano,
host of Locked On Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making the Locked On Rays podcast your first listen every day. And remember, Locked On Rays is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube at Locked On Rays. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Rays, and email us anytime at all, lockedonrays@gmail.com. We'll try to do a mailbag episode once a week, once every couple of weeks. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, hot takes, lockedonrays@gmail.com is the place to send those. Ulises, it is a Monday, which means it's time. No, not a player review today. That'll be later on in the week. But a Monday, which means it's time for what we learned, our takeaways and observations from the Tampa Bay Rays and baseball weekend. What do you got?
Well, it's getting close to the off-season, so that means award season begins. And guess what, Kevin? Not one, not two, but three Rays are Gold Glove finalists this year. Of course, starting with Randy Arozarena in left field, Joey Wendell getting his first one as well with Randy at third base, and the perennial Gold Glove winner, multi-time Gold Glove finalist, Kevin Kiermaier. He could become, Kevin, of course, could become the all-time leader in Gold Gloves won in this franchise with 4. Right now, he's tied with Longo at 3 apiece. So, Kevin, I ask you, do you want Kevin Kiermaier to become the all-time leader in Gold Gloves for this franchise?
I wouldn't have any problem with it whatsoever, especially after this season. This is one of the better seasons he's had collectively. Like, if there was a time for him to win his 4th, I think this would be a prime opportunity. And quite frankly, who knows, maybe it ups his trade value a little bit if he wins his 4th one. So send him off, a little high note swan song, if you will. But he made so many memorable plays, highlight worthy plays. And I know we had the whole controversy with the communication issue and taking over for Randy Arozarena back in, that was earlier on in the season. I think April, May, something like that. I can
tell you the last week of April.
Wow. You have that marked down. Did you put a little marker that KK is being a ball hog there? No, but and particularly in the playoffs too, like that, where he made that catch in right center, called off Randy, and then made that 90-mile-per-hour throw to nab Alex Verdugo at third for basically a single-handed double play, although Yandy had to make a pretty good tag there too. It was things like that, the home run robberies, the arm coming in and making shoestring catches. Like, I think there's nothing really that tells me that he does not deserve it again this year, quite frankly.
And I've been a Longo fan since day number 1, but I do think if you are talking Rays history, Rays lore, and you're talking about defensive wizards out there, KK has to come before Longo. So then the 4th one, to give him that edge, to give him the all-time leader, I think KK has done certainly way more to deserve that title of the defensive prowess out there now in the outfield. So I hope he does win it. Now, for Joey Wendell, super glad he gets his nomination. This is a guy that, it kind of hurts now a little bit that he gets this nomination because Kevin Cash decided to sit down the whole game 4. Joey Wendell, the all-star Gold Glove nominee, just completely on the bench on game 4. I'm still not upset about it, of course. And last but not least, Randy. I feel like he has highlight worth catches. Great arm, I think. The routes maybe not as efficient sometimes. The jumps not as efficient sometimes. I'm actually surprised that he got a little bit of a nomination here. So with this, it's a little bit unfortunate that the Gold Glove nominations, the Silver Slugger nominations, and all that. I think it's great for the players. Most of them are deserving of them, but it just makes you scratch your head when a guy like Joey Gallo goes for a Silver Slugger as a DH and then gets a nomination for Gold Glove in right field. Like, it doesn't make sense. What are we doing here, MLB, to get these awards? Because it doesn't make sense, Kevin.
So are you saying that Randy wasn't quite that deserving for the Gold Glove nomination?
I'm saying sometimes you have a pedigree of a name, and I think Randy Arozarena has that name in MLB. I know we like to talk about small market and how everybody hates the Rays, and mostly it is that's very true. But Randy Arozarena is known across MLB. If you follow MLB, I think that helped him. 2020
World Series. That's all you got to look to. I think that cachet carries over for sure.
Yeah, it's the biggest stage ever, right? So I think, maybe there were a couple more, even in the same team. Is Manny Margot not more deserving than Randy Arozarena as a fielder? Even Brett Phillips is hated.
That brings up a question, because do you do the Gold Gloves like you do the All-Star nominations, where it's just pick 3 outfielders, pick the best 3 defensive outfielders, as opposed to it's got to be a left fielder, it's got to be a center fielder, it's got to be a right fielder?
Right.
I understand. I think that Brett Phillips and Manny Margot are overall better defenders and more reliable defenders than Randy, but they haven't played as much left field as Randy did this season. But it's kind of funny because now, look, it's not easy to go from playing left to right to left, and maybe playing a little bit of center, and then you have 4-man outfields, and you've got a lot of shifts and different combinations and things like that. But actually, if you look at it, Austin Meadows played more innings in left field than Randy Arozarena. So it's kind of, I wonder if this was with left field, it was like, Alex Gordon retired, we don't have a lot of good options. So let's just pick a couple names. And I looked at some of the listings, and I would almost argue that Alex Verdugo maybe should have gotten a nomination. I mean, it's kind of tough. Maybe it was just one of those years where there weren't a lot of great left field choices for the American League. That's all I can come up with. And
I hate that, though.
Yeah, I know.
I hate the all outfielders just bunched together, because then it's going to be 3 center fielders.
Yeah, most likely.
So the right fielder and the left fielder are never going to get praised. So
although Mookie Betts, if it's a true, like Renfroe, I think legitimately could pull it out as, okay, he's so good of a right fielder that he would grab one. Maybe.
I mean, the outfield assists, those count. Man.
Yeah.
And he did put on a show this year. But yeah, I wouldn't put them all in one bucket. I would still separate them. But again, I feel like sometimes these awards just go to the biggest name. And Randy, I think, actually now has that cachet of having kind of a heavyweight name. I know, again, Tampa and the small market, but people know Randy Arozarena.
Yeah.
People know him. So I feel like he kind of got etched in there, just like DJ LeMahieu got etched in there for the Silver Slugger.
Yeah, that was absurd.
That's absurd.
I don't know how that's not even. What did he slug last year?
I mean, it was his worst career year, and you're going to give him a Silver Slugger.
Are we going to put Kevin Kiermaier on the Silver Slugger list for center field?
Brandon Lowe. How is Brandon Lowe not getting the Silver Slugger nomination? Like, doesn't it make more sense, Kevin, to give Brandon Lowe a Silver Slugger nomination than giving Randy Arozarena a Gold Glove nomination?
I agree. So if I gather this right, in the order of who is most deserving for a Gold Glove for the Rays out of the nominees, you have it KK, Wendell, and then Randy.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. I agree with that. Okay. I do. And I know Joey Wendell had the 11 errors at third base, and most of those were throwing errors. But I'll say this, he gets to so many balls, and he might get to a ball down the line that would be a double or a triple, and he might have to rush the throw, and it keeps the guy to a single.
And
so
when you say that most of them are through the throws, thank you for saying that, because in 2021, we're still just believing that every throw, just if they're not perfect, it can't be caught. I'm sorry, it's 2021.
Yeah.
You better have a first baseman then that can pick you up. Imagine Freddie Freeman catching Joey Wendell throws and not Yandy and G-Man Choi. Imagine somebody who can actually pick Anthony Rizzo out there in first base. Like, that would make Joey Wendell better. So honestly, I see the throw errors, but you got to have somebody there that's competent that can help them out.
I looked at the highlights, and there were a couple that he airmailed that you'd have to be Yao Ming to catch those balls. But there were a couple that maybe G-Man and Yandy, they shouldn't have swiped at it. If they made a little bit more of an effort, they could have gotten those balls. Moreover, I'll say this, a lot of the throwing errors too with Joey Wendell came on choppers, slow rollers, where he had to rush the throw a little bit again, and the guy might have, he might have been safe regardless. So it could have been some ticky-tacky errors as well. But you look at how limber he is, and even making plays in foul territory too. Sometimes where he's shifted basically as a shortstop, and he has to make plays down the third baseline. Like he is impressive defensively. And I know he had a little bit of the yips with the throws, but I still think he would be, in essence, more deserving than Randy as far as a Gold Glove is concerned. Now, let me ask this, Ulises.
Right.
Were there any snubs for the Rays?
I know people are going to be upset that Mike Zunino did not get the nomination here, Gold Glove. I guess, just like I said, Tampa Bay, small market and all that. He doesn't have that type of name, I think.
But he was an all-star, and he did slug.
I know, but then again, I think the biggest thing about Mike Zunino in 2021 was the slugging. So that gets the spotlight.
That's true.
The catching duties and the glove kind of get by the wayside because it's always usually there. So then that's the standard already. And that, I think, damages him. But, I do want to say this with Joey Wendell, if we can backtrack a little.
Yeah.
You said Kevin Kiermaier, if he wins it puts his trade value up.
Yes.
Joey Wendell, all-star, gets a Gold Glove award if it happens. Boy, oh boy, what can you get for Joey Wendell when his stock is at his highest?
Yeah.
His stock has never been higher. And if you're the Rays, what do you do when your assets are at their highest price? You sell.
These are Wall Street guys, after all.
You sell, Kevin.
That's a good point.
You sell.
Last thing on Joey Wendell, he was 94th percentile in outs above average. And I just can't. I always love this, the glove that he uses. It looks like it's from like 1975, like he had it since he was a toddler. Like at some point, the levy's got to break on that thing. That is such a broken in glove.
It's
like
awesome.
he doesn't. It's again no flash to Joey Wendell at all, and you can tell by his glove that he uses the relic that he has with that. Okay, we'll move along here and continue the conversation. But first, we have to tell you about DirecTV Stream. It is a simple way to get all the entertainment you love without the hassle. DirecTV Stream brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, which means you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. And the best part of it all is there is no annual contract. So stop waiting and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. That's directtv.com. Okay, Ulises, getting to my takeaway or observation from the weekend. And it's not quite as positive as the Gold Glove nominations for the Rays, but it's still newsworthy nonetheless. Nick Anderson is having surgery, elbow surgery, and he is aiming for a return sometime in July. The procedure is the installation of a brace to support his ulnar collateral ligament. The Rays expect that he will be fully recovered by the second half of the 2022 season. I believe it when I see it after what I saw from him on the mound this year. And I think it's just a continuation of the overuse that he experienced in the 2020 World Series.
Seems to me that if he is going to be available July of 2022. Maybe he should have gotten Tommy John November 2020.
Yeah. Instead of
I just
delayed it.
Whole, I know it's like not exactly Tommy John, but it's like Tommy John light.
Basically.
Again, not doctors here, so please do not take this as any doctor advice whatsoever. But from what I read, it seems like it's a different procedure, like Tommy John light. It's not really Coke. It's Diet Coke Zero.
It's Diet Right.
It's RC Cola.
Diet RC Cola. Cola. There we go. Yeah.
It's unfortunate, man.
It is.
And I have seen this debate on anti-social media. He was overused. He was not overused. It happens. Oh my God, they broke him down. Can it be both? Can it just be that it happens, but also that if you pitch 14 innings in a short abbreviated season where you don't know how much training these guys had, and you put them into a situation now where you're using them every day, multi-innings. Yeah, maybe he had, that was his career low, 30 innings pitched, but the high leverage, the intensity, the pressure, and the constant, like, you're the guy. I'm sorry, how does that not put a little bit more stress than, say, February 23rd type of pitching?
Yeah. And you know what? I know it's tough, but it's also a little bit on the player to say, I'm not feeling right, coach. I'm not feeling 100%, because I'm sure Nick Anderson appreciates, hey, even when I'm not quite at my best, they're still calling upon me. They still trust me. As an elite pro athlete, you want to go out there every time, even when you're not at your best or have your best stuff. But I think, and it just goes to show you that, man, pitchers can be fickle. These injuries can come up. Like, there is a chance that Nick Anderson doesn't even get a shot at free agency. His career could be over. Now, depending on what happens with the CBA and how things change, but I don't think he's going to be a free agent until 2025. He's already 31 and a half years old. Who knows what's going to happen after this surgery? He might be back at square one. He might not. I would bet against him being as good as he was beforehand, but I think maybe it's a little bit of a lesson. We've talked about this before of, if you're a young pitcher, and not saying that the Rays offered Nick Anderson a contract extension or anything like that. Maybe that was part of the, not to say that this is the Rays are trying to be deliberate and trying to do this on purpose, but it's like, hey, we don't have this guy locked up for a long-term deal. We don't like to keep guys through multiple years of arbitration. Let's use him as much as possible. Let's get our wear out of him. But maybe this is a lesson to, okay, it might be a below market deal, but if you're offered something, Tyler Glass now, if you're offered something, Shane Baz, if you're offered something, Patino, McClanahan, maybe take it. Maybe take it.
Well, and that's the thing, because that these guys are competitive and they trust. They don't get to where they are without an abundance of confidence, without an abundance of self-trust. That's why they're there. That's why they got one of those 700 spots. So you understand that, the competitive side, but the realistic side is that you are not a machine, and you can break down.
Yeah.
As easy as it can happen to the best closer in the game, to the best starter in the game, to a guy that's going to the Hall of Fame like Justin Verlander, to guys that have sensational rookie years, Mark Fidrich. It happens to everybody. They do not discriminate, these injuries. So I'm with you. I don't know why anybody with, not coming from a wealthy family would say no to a long-term friendly deal. Like, that's just, it's there, man. Take it. Oh, I wish I could. It's the Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
Oh man, well, I'm sorry, but you're set.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you might have gotten way more money, but you don't have to worry about anything anymore.
Yes.
Oh, you don't have 17 cars, you only have 3. Oh, well, shucks.
Right.
Oh, well, it's okay.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
And it brings up a question now, Ulises, with, I don't know, because we were talking about this entire year. Just wait till Nick Anderson's back. Then we have our de facto closer. Then we're set. We're ready for the second half. We're ready for the postseason. Now that he's out of the fold, now that he is, you can't bank on him to be Nick Anderson of 2019, 2020 anymore, quite frankly. So it begs the question, are the Rays going to look from within for the closer or go with a closer by committee, or do they go after one of the many relievers that are available, i.e. Raisel Iglesias, Kenley Jansen, Ryan Tepera, Colin McHugh is a free agent, Aaron Loop is a free agent, Kendall Graveman is a free agent.
I don't think the Rays are going to go for any of those guys.
Okay.
And it's because of what we talked about earlier. They're so volatile.
Yeah. And although, can I say this about Raisel Iglesias? Sure. Like, we've talked about, hey, go after
that was
big
the
name.
guy.
That would be, because he has been in, the wheels can come off quickly for a guy, for sure. I mean, we have seen that with Kenley Jansen of late, but
Kimbrel, even when they were going to sign him.
Exactly. But Raisel Iglesias, if I may say, like, he has been pretty darn consistent for the last 6-7 years. Like, you're basically averaging a sub 2.5 ERA and 30 saves. And
is that Stu?
Stu is on the line. Dang it! Quit calling me Stu.
Did he sign Raisel?
Maybe he's like, stop giving away the hints here.
Well, look.
But let me just say this. So, and also, like, and this might be a conversation for later. And I know this is a very boisterous wish list here, but
right. Thank you.
He pitched in Cincinnati, which is a bandbox, and he did well there.
Yes.
He pitched for Los Angeles this past season, a loser. Okay. So maybe he wants to pitch for a winning ball club, and being that he is a Cuban native, you have some tie-in with Randy and Yandy. So there's some little connection there. Like, that would be, again, we always say, hey, go after this guy, go after that guy.
Right.
But it would be fun to have that. I'll just throw that out there. But in the aggregate, I do agree with you that the Rays will keep doing what they're doing, basically.
Yes, but there's nothing bad about dreaming on November the 1st.
Yes.
About maybe getting the closer that you can just trust and give the ball to. And when I mean closer, people, I know how the Rays operate, which means the closer is not actually the closer.
Yeah.
Sometimes he'll come in the 7th, and that is okay. I like that. I like when the game is on the line in the 7th inning and you've got the bottom of the order, 7, 8, 9 in the 9th.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have the guy that just has the poise to get the 7th inning outs instead of the 9th inning outs.
Yeah.
High leverage outs are the most important one. Duh. So, yeah, it would be great to have that guy. Imagine this team with a guy like that in 2021. Season completely changes. So at least the postseason does. Yes, that would be best case scenario, but I don't see it. I really don't. Hopefully they surprise me, but I don't think so.
It'll be Kittredge, Fairbanks, Chagua. They'll try somebody out until they get one to work. Or they just go with the 15 closers or 15 guys get saves. I guess.
I hate that though. No, I would rather them do another Nick Anderson type trade. A guy that we don't even know about, that is with the Diamondbacks, that had like 12 innings and has a crazy spin rate and a crazy slider. Then they're like, oh, okay, that guy. Give us that guy.
Yeah, we could see a lot of things there. And just to kind of put the hammer on the nail here with Nick Anderson, just to see how far he stepped back in the limited action he had with the Rays in 2021. So on his fastball, he averaged 93 miles per hour this year. That was compared to 95.2 in 2020 and 96 in 2019. What happened to the curveball? Same thing. 81 mile per hour average in 2021, 84.5 in 2020, and then 83.1 in 2019. The spin rates on the fastball and the curveball went complete way down. Also, of course, I mean, we saw it with the action that there was no swing and miss.
No
I mean,
whiffs.
the whiff rates were basically cut in half this year in the action that he saw. So,
and sometimes it looked like the whiffs that he did get were kind of by mistake. Like he wanted the ball up and it went down.
Yeah,
like it was like a misdirection, but not on purpose. So yeah, that's definitely huge. But you know what's also huge though?
What's that?
My God, the flavors of Built Bars.
Oh my gosh, I just got an order in, so I'm ready to indulge in the, what is it? The blueberry muffin, and there's another one, a chocolate flavor, I believe.
Well, they've got everything. Yeah. All of them have chocolate, Kevin, and the blueberry one is to die for. You got to get yourself some Built Bars today. You all know what you got to do. You go to Built.com, because these healthy, tasty, delicious, chocolatey bars have amazing flavors. They've got double chocolate, German chocolate, cherry barcia. They've got coconut. You've got the blueberry ones too. If you want to try them, go to Built.com. And before you hit the purchase button, you know what to do. You hit that promo code LOCKED15, LOCKED15, to get 15% off your order. So go today to Built.com. Do yourself a favor, do your roommates a favor, and get yourself some Built Bars in the house today.
100% you should do that. Ulises, we put a pretty fun poll up over the weekend. Of course, there was some talk about takeaways and observations. There was a earth-shattering move in Bob Melvin going from the Oakland Athletics to the San Diego Padres, and that might foretell the Athletics. They might be in a little bit of a rebuild and selling mode. So we put out a poll question: if or when the A's start selling, who would you like the Rays to target? Chris Bassett, Sean Manaea, Matt Olson, or Matt Chapman? In the voting populace said 15.5% for Bassett, 43.7% for Manaea, 21.1% for Matt Olson, and 19.7% for Matt Chapman. A couple comments here too before we give our take. Noah Worley says, I love Olson, but I feel like his asking price would be too high. Chapman would be the best fit, especially since it seems like we're looking to move on from Wendell. Manaea would be nice, but I don't think he would like his role on the Rays, playing third fiddle to the Shanes. Troy McNabb says, I would like both Olson and Chapman. Who wouldn't? And then Chuck Glass says yes to all of it. Ulises.
Yeah, I think the majority of people, although they said Manaea, I think Olson's the best one out of that. I mean, it's just, you can't get that much power with that little of strikeout rate, and the walk rate is high, almost at 13%. This guy just was an all-star. He can put up a show, and to have that guy in the middle of the lineup would just make this lineup even better. And it's kind of like how you approach the draft. Yeah. You know, it's let's get the best player available, not what we need, because what the Rays need is pitching. Yeah. You need a guy, and you saw it in the postseason. You need a guy that's stable, that you can give the ball, and that's a quality start. Here you go. That's a Chris Bassett type. I don't even think Sean Manaea. I would get that role for me would be Chris Bassett instead of Sean Manaea. Okay. I like Sean Manaea stuff better, but the trust, the volatility, I would give it to Chris. But Matt Olson, man, that's imagine Brandon Lowe back to back with Matt Olson in that lineup in between Randy and Wander Franco. Boy, Austin Meadows, hello. I mean, that's a filthy lineup right there.
It's funny because you wonder. We talk about how good the Rays offense was this past year. Can they keep it up? Is Mike Zunino going to be the same player that he was? Are the Rays going to bring back Nelson Cruz? G-Man Choi is probably on the out. So that would theoretically create an opening for a Matt Olson. The question is the asking price. The Rays had to give up Drew Strotman and Joe Ryan and take on $5 million of Nelson Cruz salary for 2.5 months or whatever it is. So how much is Matt Olson going to cost, as he has 2 more years of arbitration before he's a free agent in 2024? And the Oakland Athletics want some prospects. They want some prospects big time, as they are, I think, in the bottom third. Not to say this is the end-all be-all, but bottom third in prospect ranking, somewhere around 20 to 30. So you wax poetic about Matt Olson. Would you give up Josh Lowe and Vidal Bruján to acquire Matt Olson?
Thank you for saying and not or, because if you say or, you're a homer.
You want Vidal Bruján and Mike Brasso?
No, people are going to be like, no, can we just throw Kevin Padlo, even though he's not with the organization anymore?
Padlo and Brasso. We have a deal, right?
Yeah.
For Matt Olson?
Oh, my God. And then if we say Lowe and Bruján, they're like, oh, come on, why are you giving up the farm? Like, because you won 39 home runs and you won an all-star. That's why. Yeah. That's why. That's a tough one. Josh Lowe and Vidal Bruján together, man, that's going to be a punch.
Oof.
For a guy that's going to give you what, year and a half, 2 years before free agency. That's rough. I don't think the Rays make that trade. I think, man, I kind of think I would.
It's tough because I would.
Window of opportunity.
Yes.
Who's going to make your team better next year? Matt Olson or Josh Lowe and Vidal Bruján?
Matt Olson, 100%. And even if his strikeout rate is
balloons up again to 20, 22, 23.
But something tells me that he has made, you don't just cut your strikeout rate in half. And that's like, oh, he just had a great year where he cut his strikeout rate in half for 157 games. Like, and I did some digging on him and he changed things a little bit in his approach of trying to spray the ball to all fields and working with basically a high pitch batting machine so he can get on top of velocity better. Cool. And we see that in the results there. So you know what? It's kind of funny with Matt Olson because there's a couple things which may lead me to believe that this could be a possibility. And we talk about his offense, but his defense is very valuable as well. You talk about scooping up those throws from Joey Wendell and Brandon Lowe and Wander Franco, but Matt Olson, he is represented by Jet Sports.
Oh, okay.
And they are based in Tampa.
Oh.
BB Abbott. Also, you know who Matt Olson was T-ball teammates with in Georgia?
Austin Meadows.
You would be correct. And
boy, oh boy.
We can infer that Matt Olson, he is from Georgia, is from the Southeast. Maybe he wants to get back to the Southeast.
He likes fishing like Austin Meadows. He can do a little bit of fishing boys trips together. I like that.
One more thing. We know how the Rays are very, platoon, you're not that good against lefties. We're going to plug and play for Matt Olson. Plug and play. As much of a plug and play guy as there is, Matt Olson is that guy. Versus lefties this past season, he batted .270 with 22 home runs. Versus righties, he batted .271 with 17 home runs. So there's your answer.
He's the best available. You get this guy, and it'll change your complete, window of opportunity. I think people in Rays Nation, you should feel good about the Rays' future. You should feel pretty good about your playoff chances in the next 5 years. It's very difficult to go all the way. Yeah. Can we put away the trash cans and just look at the Astros objectively? World Series, ALCS, World Series, ALCS, World Series, only one ring.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough to win it. And I know Rays fans feel positive, but you have to put the damn foot down on the pedal to get the piece of metal that Rob Manfred calls the World Series trophy. So I would love it. Yeah. I don't see it. It would be very expensive. Whoever gets Matt Olson did their fandom a real good gift for this Christmas. Yeah.
And the homers would translate too. Hitting bombs at the Oakland ballpark. It's not like he was at Yankee Stadium or Camden Yards, knocking out 40 bombs.
Imagine playing 9 more games at Yankee Stadium, 9 more games at Fenway Park, 9 more games in Camden Yards.
Ooh,
that's tasty.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Okay.
I love his stance too, where he holds the bat out extended at like a 45-degree angle. In fact, his hands are always blocking the umpire's view. It's great to see.
Yeah, I love it. And it's kind of like a Brandon Lowe on twist.
Yeah.
It's a very odd, I like it. Bring that to Tampa Bay. Bring it.
Josh Lowe and Xavier Edwards. Would you make that
For Slaplank?
for Matt Olson?
Yeah, but Slaplank.
Yeah, yes. That's his nickname.
I really wish I could say it.
We could. I'd have to bleep it out. You'd be making more work for me, which I would not appreciate.
Okay. Slaplank. Yeah.
Okay.
You got Greg Jones. Greg Jones is the best. It's a better representation of what Xavier Edwards can do.
Josh Lowe and Taylor Walls.
Oh man, but I like that glove that Wallsy brings though.
And you got to think about the future of a guy like Yandy and the future of a guy like Joey Wendell. You might need
They're
somebody.
out. You got to get Walls in there. No, I don't do that one.
Okay. I'm trying to think of more combinations. Xavier Edwards and Taylor Walls.
Ooh. But that's the thing, though. Like, that's how we are.
It's going to take basically two top 10 prospects at least.
They're going to ask for Boss. We know this.
You don't give up Boss. You can't do that.
No, you don't do it. But they're going to ask. Like, this is the type of level of return that they want.
I would give up maybe Rasmussen and Josh Lowe situation. I would go that far.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun offseason.
It's going to be fun.
I think it will be. Okay. Thank you again for making the Locked On Rays podcast your first listen every day. If you have a fun trade idea, or if there's a way that you think the Rays could maneuver or outmaneuver the Athletics to get Matt Olson, lockedonrays@gmail.com. Hit us with your trade request and rumors and wants and everything like that as well. Thank you again for making the Locked On Rays podcast your first listen every day. Now make your second listen the Locked On MLB podcast. That is also free and available on all platforms. We will talk to you